you did mention the Warriors, and we have a lot to talk about with the Warriors. So now I'm wondering, are we going to go Draymonds today? Are we going in on those comments?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. We used some of the sound from Draymond yesterday on the show, but we didn't really get into the conversation because Michael Holley is like, he thinks he's a slick person and he tries to get me like riled up. So he started this like Stephen Curry versus Jokic debate. And I never got to address Dre's comments. And I don't have much to say about them, but I will say this: Draymond really needs to learn to just stop talking. And he won't. But it's just like, I'm exhausted from him referencing last year, and to me, what felt like a jab at Jordan Poole. And I think to many, it felt like a jab. So much so that Steve Kerr had to do radio the next day. He was all over 95.7 clarifying the comments. And, Klay Thompson even said that same night when asked about Draymond's comments, like he sort of disagreed with them. It's like, if you weren't happy coming to work and things were the way they are, the first place you need to look is at you, Draymond, because you were the cause of that friction, And I don't understand why we're still continuing to cast aspersions over Jordan Poole. He's gone. He got traded. He's in Washington. I'm still hearing local media in the Bay talk about his intelligence. And it always makes me uncomfortable when people are talking about the intelligence of players. But, it's just like, enough already. Enough. It's vibes. We know it's vibes. Y'all are vibing right now. Just focus on the Warriors. Focus on building the chemistry there. Focus on making sure Moody and Kuminga keep rolling. Focus on making sure that Chris Paul is doing his thing. And stop focusing on last year and Jordan Poole.
Yeah. No, I mean, mic drop. That's it. I feel like when Draymond went for Horse SHIT, I was like, okay, all right, now we need to look in the mirror for just a little second, possibly. But you did mention, like, yes, the vibes are high, as they should be. Warriors are firing on all cylinders, and Stephen Curry is the general of that. And you mentioned that you didn't get the opportunity to kind of weigh in on that like Curry Jokic debate, but I caught it. And I feel like, as someone who has grown up in Sacramento, I've spent so much of my life watching Stephen Curry be dominant. And out of the two that you guys were discussing, Jokic and Curry, I'm taking Curry all day because he has put on a masterclass and shown how incredible. He is the greatest shooter of our generation. And I feel like the way that he is able to take over a game, obviously this is a fresh wound for me, but 50 points in game 7 of the first round of the playoffs, that was devastating. And I don't even want to go into all the clutch buckets he scored specifically against the Kings, but like we're tired. Sacramentans are tired of his greatness. That's how incredible.
Is that what you guys are called? I didn't know that. Sacramentans. That's the issue with New Yorkers. New Yorkers, we never know anything outside of New York. So I'll be like, oh, is that? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be. I really never heard that term before.
I mean, I feel like I've heard it. Maybe I made it up. We say 916ers. That's the area code. 916ers.
Not area code either.
But the bottom line is, we are fed up because he demands so much attention from opposing offenses. Like, let's say he's not even taking the shot. Just a couple nights ago, he drew all that defensive attention just to kick it to Klay Thompson and give him the opportunity for that super clutch bucket that you hate to see as someone from Sacramento. But I wanted your take on it, because if we're comparing, you're the person to do it.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought up that Klay bucket and what happened, because that night, and it always happens. It always happens in a playoff series. Nick Nurse is known for the box and one defense on Steph. Like, there's just certain coaches who are going to like do the anyone but Steph defense, right? And they just like, we'll take our chances. And it usually does not work because, one, he solved it. He knows how to like work through it. But additionally, because of his gravity, his gravitational pull, which is unique and like no other in NBA history. He's the best floor spacer to ever play the game. Because of that, it allows Klay Thompson to get, you know, for the most part, I don't want to say butt naked because you're not leaving Klay Thompson open, but they were so worried. They were so worried about Klay Thompson. You know what I'm saying? And yesterday, I was so floored by some of the things my girl Liv Moods was saying. I was like, you know, so I was not even prepared to fully defend Stephen the way that he should be defended. I'm not going to rehash everything that I said, but I just think I want to talk about like some of the underrated things about Stephen Curry that I think go overlooked. So we talked about his gravity. He's the best off-ball player to ever play the game. And so when people think of making teammates better, they often think of it in assist. They think of it like that. And so that's why people debate whether he's a point guard. That's why people say, you know, don't think he's as good as he is of a passer, because the system that they play, and by the way, Steph is the system. He's the system. But the way that they play, he doesn't get as many assists because he gets like hockey assists. And the way that he assists is by drawing defenders, right? So his teammates can get open buckets. Stephen Curry turned Andrew Wiggins into an all-star. I don't want to hear about making teammates better. Andrew Wiggins said, I've never been more open before in my life. People thought Andrew Wiggins was a bust. They laughed at Bob Myers and the Warriors for trading to him. Media people went on rants saying, oh, they will never win again. And he became an all-star. He was their second most important player in the series against the Celtics. That is because of Stephen Curry. And so the idea and notion that he doesn't make his teammates better, I don't think anyone makes their teammates better. You know, I truly don't. Like in the history of the game. And so like I said, I was just floored. There's so many things about him that just go overlooked. Even when you said he's one of the best shooters of all time, or he's the best shooter rather, I even cringe when people say that. I get so tired of him being described as a shooter. No, I'm not mad at you. He is. It's his crown. But I feel like it almost, because he's so much more than a shooter. And the way in the past traditionally that people have thought of shooters, it's inherently like a knock. It's like you're not a complete player, you know, but he is one of the best scorers, which I said yesterday. He is a shooter at every level, not just 3-point, mid-range, finishing around the rim. He is the best free throw shooter in the history of the game, right? So he's all these things, Callie. He's also an excellent rebounder for his height and size. So I just need people to pay attention. I need people to watch the Warriors. And if you don't watch the Warriors, that's fine. But don't talk about them so definitively and about Stephen Curry like you understand his game, because then we just hear like crazy things being said.
Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.